everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you guys are doing good today. I myself am doing pretty well. I got a haircut yesterday, as you can see, and that always makes me feel better because I haven't had one in about a year. So it was time, got it layered, so I think it looks a little bit better, not as naughty as it was before. So today we are back in front of my bookshelf as I am home for the week before I go back to college, and I thought that I would take this opportunity to talk to you guys about some of my favorite book series, not books, favorite book series that I really think that you need to read in full. Like, they are wonderful. And I thought that I would go through 5 of them with you guys and just explain what they're about, kind of why I like them, kind of a little short synopsis for each one. So the first one is A Series of Unfortunate Events. It's about these 3 siblings whose parents die in a fire, and they are being hunted by their Uncle Olaf. In the first book, they're given into his care, but as the books go on, they are running from him as he shows up throughout their life dressed as different people, fooling their guardians and everything. And I mostly appreciate these books. There's 13 of them because Lemony Snicket's writing that he does, I just think it's really creative, it's different, it's nothing that I have ever read anything like it before. And so that's the biggest reason I like these, because they're pretty depressing books if you read them, but his writing style just makes them humorous to read, even though the story you're reading isn't very humorous at all. So that's the first book series, A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would recommend it at about 5, simply because if you don't like sad stories, this is not for you, because every single book is a depressing story. But if you like different writing styles, that kind of stuff, then this is definitely a book series you should try. Or if you liked the Netflix series. Also very, very good, almost exactly like the book series. So if you like the Netflix series, goes from like a 5 out of 10 to like a 9 out of 10. You probably really should read the books if you're a reader. So that's the first book series. Second book series is by James Dashner. It is called the Mortality Doctrine series. First one is The Eye of Mines. And basically it's about a world that's kind of in devastation, and everyone just lives their entire lives in this virtual reality called the VertNet, and people just live their lives in the VertNet. And this guy, the main guy, whose name is Michael, he and his friends are like pretty good, decent hackers in the VertNet. And what happens is another hacker starts to kill people in the VertNet, but when he kills them in the VertNet, he kills them in real life. So Michael and his friends have to find him in this video game and complete his challenges, or he's gonna do something even worse. Basically, he's just gonna kill everyone. And so I really like science fiction. It's probably my favorite genre. But I've also noticed that I have a very deep appreciation for video game science fiction, where it's like in a video game with real life consequences, which is basically what this book is. And so I really appreciate that, because it's like anything can happen. It's a video game. You can do anything, be anyone, but you're gonna have real life consequences. Something's gonna happen. People are gonna die, and I just think that makes it so much more like fun to read. Like, you're gonna go into this game and die a bunch of times, but then all of a sudden when you die, and I just think that makes it really interesting to me, and it being sci-fi is just icing on the cake, so they say. So that is book number 2. Probably an 8 out of 10 would recommend. If you don't like sci-fi, definitely not the book for you, but if you're even slightly interested in sci-fi books, you should definitely read it. It's definitely a fly by the seat of your pants type of book, keep you on the edge of your seat, and really just grabs you and doesn't let go until you're finished. And then when you're finished, you wish it wasn't over. It is a trilogy as well, so there's only 3 books, which makes it very nice and easy to read. They're all about the same size as well. So that is the second book series. The third book series is the Maze Runner series, but I don't have the Maze Runner book. I have this book, which is a prequel to the series, just because it was the easiest one to get off my shelf. Yeah, my Maze Runner book isn't very easy to get off my shelf, but this one was. And so this is the prequel to the Maze Runner series. Plus, I just really like the cover, and it is my favorite in the whole series. Prequel and main trilogy, this is my favorite. But the Maze Runner series is about these group of kids who are put inside of this maze, and they have to get out. But they don't know, and they find out in the end that they are part of this experiment to find a cure for a disease called the flare, which basically turns people into kind of zombie-esque type of deal, and that origin story is written in this book, actually. The origin story of the flare is this book. So, and the main character of the Maze Runner series, Thomas, is sent in there as a last resort, and as soon as he goes in, the maze just starts doing really crazy and weird things, and they have to find their way out even quicker, and it is done by a government company called Wicked, and it's definitely high action. Everyone's constantly almost dying. It really makes you root for the characters. It makes you hate Wicked, even though supposedly Wicked is good. But it shows you that in times of desperation, humanity will stoop to these all new lows that you would never expect, because that's what they believe they have to do to survive. And I just think that this book series really brings that out of people. I think it really shows that not everyone is who you think they are, and the government isn't always the best option for things. So probably a solid another 8 out of 10 would read. I would definitely recommend reading the main trilogy more than the prequels, because the prequels are not for everybody. But the main trilogy, there are 3 movies with them. There are 3 movies based off the main trilogy. Dylan O'Brien plays Thomas, the main character. And if you like the movies, I would also recommend reading the book, because the book is always better. But the main movies also kind of stray from the book, so don't read the books expecting it to be like the movies. But I would definitely 8 out of 10 recommend these for science fiction fans and also fans of the movie, because the book is similar to the movie in terms of like very fast action, fast paced, really intense emotional draw in the book like the movie, even though the plot kind of isn't the same exactly. But definitely would recommend. And so that is series number 3. The Maze Runner, not the kill order, but hey, this one's a good one too. So that's number 3. Number 4 is by another James author. If you were curious. This book series, The Maze Runner, is written by James Dashner, and so was this. They were written by the same author, which might be why I like them both so much. Anyway, so this is by another James author, James Patterson. He has a whole bunch of young adult books, but also a whole bunch of adult books, and these are probably my favorite book series. They're definitely a book series that I read that like made me fall in love like intensely with books. Was this book series. I read them when there were only 6, I believe, and they ended up being 8. So I started reading them when there were only 6, and there ended up being 8 of them. So this is actually the last one, but I thought that it really portrayed the title of the book series, the author, and really encompassed what the book is, which the book series is about this girl, Maximum, and her flock, her family, which are genetically engineered kids, basically, and they've been given bird DNA so they can fly with these wings, and basically the whole book series follows them fighting off these different villains who end up working for each other. It's like one villain you defeat, and it turns out he's working for this other villain, and you defeat him, and the plot kind of has a bunch of different branches as you go throughout the series, but definitely definitely intensely shows you that, like, the world needs help. Like, it definitely focuses on, like, environmental stuff a lot, and, like, it really tells the reader, like, hey, this world needs help. Like, you need to help the world. And also, it's just fast action, fast-paced, short chapters, which is really nice because it just gives you more breaks if you really want them. And I would probably say 7 out of 10 would recommend, mainly because as you go through the series, like I said, the plot does get a little more convoluted, a little more twisty, a little more confusing as you go throughout the series, and a lot of people don't like that. They like a very simple plot, but it is one of my favorites, so I do have to give it a really high rating. There is a movie about it on Netflix. It's really bad. Would not recommend. Do not watch the movie. Not only is it a bad representation of the books, but it's just a bad movie. But the books are wonderful. James Patterson does an amazing job. I own 3 full young adult series by him, including this one. So if not these books, check out some of his other young adult books, particularly the Witch and Wizard series and Daniel X. But this is book number 4, and just brings back a lot of memories. I spent most of middle school reading these. So that's book number 4. Okay, series number 5 should come as no surprise to anybody. As a book lover, it's almost guaranteed that this would make this list. Harry Potter. This is the second illustrated book because it's just big, easy to see. I do have the entire box set of books off to my left here, but they're kind of like the Maze Runner books, a little harder to get out. So I thought I would use this one, plus the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. But if you have been living on a rock and under a rock and you don't know what Harry Potter is, basically it's this huge book series, this huge franchise really about a young boy who at age 11 is told that he's a wizard, and he has to go off and study wizardry at this school for wizardry. And it follows him as the chosen one who's meant to defeat the Dark Lord Voldemort and bring peace to the wizarding world. And the books just follow him trying to figure out how to do that, and his friends who are trying to help him, and the adults in the wizarding world who don't believe him, like the Ministry of Magic and everything, who just don't believe that he's telling the truth. So I'm like everybody else, it just opens you up to a whole world. It's probably the only fantasy series that I really like, fantasy books that I really like. I'm not a huge fantasy person, but I absolutely adore this book series. And it really opens your mind to what the government is, what people are, like racism and hard times and orphans, and like it just opens you up to things that you might not think about in terms of our world, but it really portrays them in the wizarding world. And it's magical how influential it is. There's a whole spin-off series now called Fantastic Beasts that they're doing movies on. There's no books for them, but they're doing movies on the Fantastic Beast, and they have 2 wizarding worlds, one in Orlando, Florida, USA, and one in the UK in Great Britain. And it's just incredible to think how much it's grown, how much it influences people and children to this day. And I just think that for something to have such a world-renowned type of reputation and to influence people all over the world, I just really think that book series really like put it above for me. It's a 10 out of 10 recommend just for culture reasons, really. It's starting to become modern literature. It's read in English classes, and it gives something else to a book series that most book series don't have. It has backstories, it has rules, it has everything that you could want in a book series is there. And if you want to find more information, you just have to go online, and there's like more information that you could ever think of. Like J.K. Rowling thought of everything when she wrote these books, and I just think that just goes beyond the Call of Duty when you write a book. Like, you write a book, that's it. But she went and she wrote an entire world, basically. And I just think that's really incredible. So that definitely made it onto the list at number 5, even though these weren't really in any particular order. They really weren't. I just took them off my bookshelf based on their size, basically. But those are my 5 favorite book series where I own all of them on my bookshelf back behind me. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. To see my most recent video, you can click over here. To see a video that YouTube recommends for you, you can click over here. And if you would like to subscribe, you can click right here. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.